this week, the sky brings an invitation to retreat from the outside world, to continue to go deeper into the heart space, the cave of your most sacred and creative and intentional self. As the storms of the outside world continue to rage on, and I'm going to get into all of that and what it means for you and more on this week's episode of Cosmic RX Radio.
Welcome to Cosmic RX Radio, a podcast that gives you real-life tools of spiritual empowerment and pure hype. I'm your host and intuitive guide, MADI Murphy. I'll be serving up your weekly energy readings, cosmic boss interviews, and astro inspiration. Are you ready to love yourself more, manifest your dream life, and own your magic? Let's jump in.
We're going to be doing a look at the whole month of February. And that's because MADI Murphy, your cosmic consultant, your guide. I am going to be taking a little break for this month of February for so many reasons. One, astrologically, it's very aligned for all of us to be practicing sort of a pulling back, but also personally, as some of you, or maybe, some of you know, in the community have heard me talk about, my mom has been sick for the past few years. She has a very unique type of cognitive decline, dementia called Lewy bodies. And, things are just ramping up or accelerating or downshifting, however you want to say it. But we're in this really precious, what feels like an end of life moment for her. And we want to be there by her side and with her. Of course, I tried to record this podcast 15 times, stopping and starting my weepy Cancer rising Pisces moon self. But I just wanted to share that with you. Obviously, always looking to practice more vulnerability, but just want to give you, transparency. There's so much happening. The last thing I want to do is leave everyone not having their cosmic report here. But, I want to also model that we're all human, and this is such an important time to remember that more than ever, be in our humanity and our humanness. And I'm really feeling called to be in that place of just being with my family, being with my mom, being in the sacredness of just witnessing, nourishing, space holding, grieving, feeling. And I also want to encourage other people to know that it's okay to be in that space when you need it. And, our society just values so much of this, go, 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 busy, busy, busy. And I don't want to live in a world where we're just churning out content and doing certain things out of fear or scarcity. And, I think for all of us, there's a time of a lot of balancing grief and gratitude, endings with expansiveness. And I just want to be honest with everyone and say that, we're all feeling a lot. And if you have to take moments of going into the hidey hole or the cave, the cocoon, to trust that. And also I want to really hold space for, I'm not the only one. I feel like everyone I talk to is going through some sort of big grief personally or their family or feeling it in our collective. And I also want to really dedicate this episode to anyone who's been in a caretaking role, especially for someone in their family, someone close to them, a parent. That is no joke, but I feel like it is such a sacred privilege. But it is. It takes a toll, and it's a lot emotionally, everything, spiritually, professionally, financially, all the things. And so I see you, I'm witnessing you, and I do think that there's always a beautiful reward or jewel or gift that comes from being thrust into that role. So I'm sure I'll be reporting back with many thoughts on everything when I emerge out of this break. But thank you all for understanding. And so for today's episode, I wanted to just look at the month of February. Luckily, it's the shortest month, so we can handle it. We can do this just together to get ahead of what's going to be a very intense March. And I wanted to have a few of my Virgo announcements. If you're someone you really want all the dates laid out and you like having that, we do offer through our premium subscription all the astro dates, what they mean for you at the top of the zodiac season. And I wanted to offer you a free month for anyone who isn't already a member. That way you could get those dates if you want. You could poke around the community, join the WhatsApp, come to a new moon or full moon call. I will not be leading them. I'm taking my time off. Just, yeah, the pull of the family is so real right now between caretaking for my mom and, of course, having these like two tiny babies. But if you want to join that community and you want to have a month on me, on us, you can use the code ASTRO BADDIES, ASTRO BADDIES, on our website at checkout to get access to that. And then if you're also feeling like there's something really big ramping up for you personally and you want to learn more about your chart to help you in your business, purpose, art, sense of leadership, sense of understanding, like how to ground yourself in these really wild, unstable, unprecedented times, we are going to be doing our next round of Cosmic Boss in the spring. And if you want to get in the wait list, we'll drop that in the show notes so you can get access to early bird specials and everything. Just, again, all in support to your highest good. And yeah, knowing this is like a deep season of change and transformation and rebirth and alchemy for everyone. No one is not feeling it. And this is going to continue to be a wild ride of a year, 2025. So with that being said, little different. If astrology isn't real, I don't even have the energy or bandwidth to like point out every single bananas things that happened in like the last week that has felt like 10 years of insanity, especially by like, this current administration here in the US. But I will just say it all feels very Pluto and Aquarius, and just also sending love and peace to all the people affected by the awful plane crash, helicopter crash in the Potomac and in the DC area. Ugh, like just so much heaviness. And then, of course, like the Mars retrograde in Cancer, we are a Cancer as a country. So we're feeling so much of this like infighting and aggression and just like really nasty breed of patriotism, nationalism that truly feels like satirical at this point to me. It's so gross. And I'm just praying that when I come back from this break, maybe during the Mars direct in Cancer, we've just seen already what we've been seeing, a lot of judges overturning certain executive orders or bringing some sort of just resolution to just, I don't know. There's been so much, like so many fear-based, fear-mongering things being said that I am like, I knew, like, this stuff was going to be bad. Was seeing like the Mars retrograde of it all, but it's like so heartbreaking day in, day out. And I just want to cast prayers of protection and safety around anyone, especially someone who feels really like in harm's way, either directly from these orders or just by the empowered sense of like vitriol and toxic hate that comes from our country's leaders, like emboldening this certain energy. And I just want to remind us all that like the Pluto and Aquarius energy, it is like it gets worse before it gets better. And that we are in like the French Revolution astrology, which is so important and pivotal, but it wasn't exactly like, it's not easy breezy to make these kind of big changes that we need to experience. So that's on that. I'm going to get into all the nitty gritty because there's too many things to list here. I want us all to focus again for this next month on our heart space. I want us to focus on the Pluto and Aquarius part that's really important, which is holding the vision, tending to our community, and like not letting the bastards drag us down, tapping into that energy of the higher mind, the medicine of the higher mind, the visionary, the community, the looking forward, the doing things together. And I think so much of what we're experiencing in this past week or two has been like, it's an attack on the spirit, right? And we're not going to let them do that. Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no. Our spirits are strong. And speaking of strong spirits, let's talk about the moon, because I just want us to remember that in these times, it's not only important to lean on each other and community, but it's also important to lean on what we know is like true and sacred outside of like the chaos of humanity a little bit right now, which is like returning to nature feels really important. Returning to just like understanding the cycles of astrology, of the moon, these sort of like steady things that we can lean on in the like times where it feels like every day is like something's like an onslaught to our nervous system. And like just so much permission to unplug and walk away if you need to. I just want to say, like, truly, that is such a medicine, especially at this month of February. March is going to be really intense also. So again, if you want all the astrology, you can go to the 2025 webinar that we have the replay of. But I'm just letting everyone know, like, February, March, very bumpy, but I want everyone to rest up, recharge. If you're feeling a slower energy, that's good. Mars is retrograde. Like, we're not meant to be having the most like bombastic, full blazing, like sense of engines on, go mode. This is a retreat time. It's a rest. It's a renewal time. So looking to our moon really helps us understand that. And so for the collective, we have on Monday an Aries moon. So like starting off February 3rd, just tending to ourselves. Like let's start off the week with just putting ourselves first, making self-love our biggest priority. And we're going to go into the Taurus moon. That's going to carry us through the better part of the week. And Taurus moon days are really for being in our body, for slowing down, for really being in like the multi-sensory experience of being a human. So make yourself a delicious meal. Maybe like take a yummy bath. Give yourself like permission to put on like a diffuser. Maybe even like deprive one of your senses, like put on a blindfold and just listen to music and smell like some essential oils in the air. That feels really yummy. And then Thursday through Friday and into early Saturday morning, we have a Gemini moon. It's Gemini moon, we're feeling curious. We might want to kind of do something that stimulates us intellectually, read something new, listen to a podcast on a completely different subject than we are used to, strike up a conversation with someone, even a stranger, like just offer a stranger a compliment. I kind of love that for a Gemini moon days, like just offering up some beauty into the world, being curious about something. And then that brings us into a Cancer moon weekend. So a Cancer moon weekend, we're going to want to really tend to our spirit, tend to our home. Again, Mars is retrograde in Cancer, so it's a great time to tend to your home, declutter, just like take care of yourself. Again, take a long bath, give yourself a little like nice jojoba coconut oil massage after, read a book, like make yourself a pot of tea. It's very inward, the whole energy of the month, but especially this weekend. So doing that, and don't feel guilty. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's the dead of winter. Like it's really like peak season for just tuning the outside world out and tending to the inner world, tending to your home, tending to your heart and hearth. So with that, I'm going to just give you the high level rundown for February. Again, if you want like more micro dates and what they mean, check out our community platform. We talked last week about like just beginning to divest from some of these social media platforms or forming community in other ways. And I will say I'm very proud of our community and what we've created there. And even just like, especially going through so many personal things, this community has like really held me in such beautiful moments, whether it was becoming a mother or sharing things about my mother. The past few years have been such a trip. And I am so grateful for this community. So if you want to not only get the key astro dates, but tap into a community of really supportive, spiritually minded, heart-centered baddies, like go check it out. Okay, so this month, there's a lot of Piscean and Aries energy that we're going to talk about. I'm going to focus mostly on as we get deeper into Pisces season and the end of the month, but it's really the whole month is we start off the month with Venus in Pisces, linking up with Neptune in Pisces. And there's going to be 3 conjunctions of them in 2025, which is Venus and Neptune in Pisces, February 1st, this first one. It's like so beautiful. It's like very romantic. It's dreamy. It's like a great time to focus on romance or art. Venus likes being in Pisces. We do want to have like our discernment goggles on and feet in the earth, especially when it comes to like falling in love or rushing into things. So we want to have our boundaries up and still like remember our worth and pay attention to red flags. But all that being said, it's a very dreamy energy and it kind of guides us into, like I said, this month is about if you have something creative, something artistic, something spiritual that you want to pursue, this is a good time of year to do it. And it's going to be our last full Pisces season with Neptune co-present in Pisces because we have Neptune's moving into Aries a little bit like here and there, dipping in end of March. It'll go back in October into Pisces, but then by next Pisces season at 2026, Neptune will be in Aries and it'll be there to stay. So we know Neptune is one of the modern rulers of Pisces. Neptune rules all things creative, imaginative, fantastical from the spiritual space. So if you're someone who's working on your intuitive or psychic gifts, this is a great month to trust what your intuition's showing you, to go deeper with your medicine, to learn more about your spiritual practices, to find a teacher who can help you understand more about this. Again, all stay in that place of discernment for sure, though. And then Venus, the planet of love and beauty and values, moves into Aries on February 4th. So we're feeling that spiciness, we're feeling that heat. But again, I'm just going to have us all slow down because sometimes when Venus goes into Aries, we can be too much about like rushing into things, going into like the thrill of things and not kind of feeling like into, yeah, just that more like slow, measured energy, which is fine. The only reason I'm saying being careful with it this year is because Venus is going to go retrograde, right, as we kick off March. And so anything that we start in February, we're probably going to have to redo anyway in March. That's why I'm saying don't rush things. Like, don't rush into things. Instead, use Venus in Aries as a time to take care of yourself, to drop into self-love, to maybe feel into like, where are you feeling that fire? Where are you feeling like a boost of confidence or courage? But like, we're just gonna, play it cool. We're not rushing into things. Do you see my repetitive energy over and over again for this month is like, just slow it down, slow your roll, chill out. Like, just don't do the most. Jupiter also goes direct that same day, February 4th. So you might also be feeling some just more clarity around ideas, around communication. Jupiter's in Gemini, and it's been retrograde since October 9th. So maybe like this is a great time to journal on some things, or if you want to put pen to paper, if you're, feeling called to write something or record a podcast or breathe some life into your social circle, like maybe a group chat, get that going again, or meeting up with some people you haven't seen in a while, but only if it feels good, if they feel again like nourishing to you, feel supportive. And then as the month goes on, we're just feeling into, there's a lot of like square energy with Mercury and the sun squaring Uranus, which could be, again, great for ideas, for breakthroughs, for downloads, but it can be abrasive. It can stir up like power struggles and hot-headedness and misinformation and disinformation and just people misunderstanding each other. So that's why I'm also like, again, slowing our roll, pulling back where we need to, like thinking first, reacting later, just putting the pause button, like putting the phone down, walking away, returning back, responding to that message in 24 to 48 hours. You're not going to regret it. And in the middle of the month, around February 12th, we do have the full moon in Leo, which is a great time to think about the balance between the me and the we, between your heart center and your head, between your creativity and the collective energy. So see what's being brought into balance in that Leo Aquarius part of your chart. Look back to what was going on 6 months ago. It might be coming full term now into completion. And the full moon in Leo, I always love for creation energy, for, like my creatives, my visionaries out there, getting in touch with your inner child, letting yourself get into some play, just like create for creating's sake. And then Mercury moves into Pisces on Valentine's Day. So let yourself be in that super romantic, sparkly, lovey-dovey mindset. Mercury in Pisces loves to communicate things of the heart, things that kind of transcend words. So write poetry, read poetry, take in like film, art, fashion that inspires you, that connects you to love energy, that connects you to that like all types of love, eros, philos, like anything that just lights up the soul. And also maybe again, more downloads coming through, more creative energy coming in, flowing out. But then again, Mercury's going to go retrograde in March. So knowing that like there's going to be a lot of foggy, weird energy in March. So maybe get something going, put some pen to paper, do some intuitive downloading, divination work, but then know that it might be more to the story that unfolds in March. And just in case everyone doesn't know, we always say Aries season kicks off the year for us, which it does, but we're probably not going to really feel the forward motion of the year until April 12th, because by then Mercury will be direct, Venus will be direct, we'll be out of eclipse season. So just circle April 12th, which happens to be my sister Gabby's birthday. Circle April 12th. Like if you're in February, March, and you're like, when are things going to like shift forward? When am I going to feel a difference? When am I going to feel something like actually working out? April 12th, baby. Okay. And then as we go on through February, back to this month, February 18th is the Pisces season. And like I said, the last Pisces season that we have Neptune co-present. And I always like part of why I'm taking this break, it just, happens to work out. I feel like everything in my life always links up with astrology. Pisces season is a time for endings. And again, with this being like the last Neptune in Pisces for 12, 13 years, it's a big ending, big culmination, big closing out. We're experiencing like that kind of transcendental nature of witnessing our journey. And you could look back to even 2012, what started then, something might be kind of, again, this year, showing you how far you've come since that time, bringing some big endings or beginnings or ahas or just reflecting on your journey since then. So let yourself get a wash in Pisces season. Let yourself be in the liminal, numinous realm. Let yourself kind of drop into the mystical, the heart space here. And then on the 23rd, Mars goes direct in Cancer. So hopefully some of the hecticness, some of the chaos, some of the aggravation, frustrations, like hopefully, December 6th is when Mars retrograde began. January 6th was when it moved into Cancer. And now we're feeling some forward energy. And I hope that it dials down some of this more manic, frenetic, frustrated energy. But it doesn't mean that we're like leaping into actual like crazy action mode. It's more like maybe we can feel forward motion on some of our creative project, on our crafts, on our home, on our self-care. We're still in the winter energy here in the Northern Hemisphere, at least. And I want you to feel like maybe what we've felt inspired by, or what we've had to rethink or reassess about our energy, our motivation, what's driving us. We might just feel some more forward motion, and it might positively influence things around our home and our home environment. If that's something that you've been wanting to break through on, it might bring some healing energy to our family or changes in our family. And it might bring something to play that feels like a new sense of security and stability for ourselves. So trusting all of that. And then we end the month with, okay, sorry, I just got interrupted by Lasanti, came in to join me for the tail end of this episode. So I want you to think about like, what have you learned about taking care of yourself, your home, your family? What's important to you, especially in those areas? And just see how, things might be clearing up, things that felt blocked before, or the new direction. Maybe like you had kind of a Wheel of Fortune moment, and it's the reassessing, the redirecting kind of put you on a new path or a new trajectory. And then we end the month on the 27th with a new moon in Pisces. And so it's a very potent day for tapping into your most mystical self, your most creative self. So I just encourage you, hopefully all month you've been able to do this, but if you haven't, circle this date and maybe take a little like time out from the world as much as you can. Do something where you're getting to pull cards for yourself, or maybe you treat yourself to a Reiki session, or bust out like your, paint set and your easel. Can we just like tune out the 3D world a little bit and plug into your inner self through meditation, through poetry, through maybe doing some kind of plant medicine. I don't know, like what feels playful to you? What feels like a way for you to plug into some spiritual messages if you've been looking for that? Because Jupiter in Gemini is going to be squaring this new moon. So it feels like there could be some really clear cosmic connections, but also mystical messages available to you. And that will kind of gear us up to go right into Venus is going to go retrograde day 1 of March. And again, I hope to be back, if not right away in March, definitely by Aries season. So I just can't say it enough. Thank you all for being here, for just allowing me the grace and space to go into my own cosmic cocoon of the heart. And I just encourage each and every one of you, if there's something that's important to you and you feel like it's time to reshift some priorities for February, or just tune in, drop into like really deep and radical self-care, or really dedicate yourself to your art and creative flow, please do it. This month, it just could not be more astrologically aligned. And the crazy headlines are going to keep coming. They're not going anywhere. And that's going to be life, especially for this whole year. But this whole year is really going to demand us setting ourselves up for success by really making our joy a priority, choosing peace, resting, supporting one another. And these are things that like we need to carve out time for. They're not just going to magically happen, right? We have to like make it our intentions and really almost like fight for that peace, fight for that heart space energy. And we all deserve it. And the world needs us in that energy. So I will see you in March. I'm sending each and every one of you so much love, especially if you're also going through a more intense season of life. I so feel for you. I am with you. We're going to get through it all together. And I'll see you on the other side. Oh, wait, hold on. I got to wrap you in blessings. Hello. Wrapping you in blessings for those big ass juicy checks. And you know what? I'm going to throw in some hot fulfilling toe curling sex because we also deserve that. All right. Bye for real. Mwah. Do you love getting your Cosmic RX for the week here and want more? Make sure to sign up for our premium subscription so you can get exclusive access to bonus podcast episodes, all of my astrology info for the month ahead, and live new and full moon calls to help you manifest your dream life with an intentional international community of other cosmic baddies. Sign up through our link in show notes.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you want to know more about Cosmic RX, head on over to thecosmicrx.com. And if you really love this show, I'd love it if you left a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. I super love hearing from you and reading your reviews. All right, you cosmic baddie, tune in next week. And until then, remember, love yourself fully, work your magic, and take no shit.